Welcome to Rewired for Love. I am your host, JaCarie Owens, licensed mental health counselor, EMDR basic training coach and consultant, group practice owner and supervisor at Courageous Minds Counseling, relational trauma expert, and the most important one, your honest but loving homegirl therapist who's not afraid to talk about the messy parts of healing. Around here, we talk about all things nobody taught us growing up, how our attachment styles show up in love, why our nervous system acts like a fool sometimes, and what it really takes to feel safe in our bodies. So this is not about perfection. It's about learning to love yourself in real time with grace, boundaries, and a little bit of humor. So take a deep breath. Get comfy, because we don't chase chaos, we choose calm. And this is Rewired for Love. Hey y'all, welcome back to Rewired for Love. Today's episode, we're going where many people have lived but never had the language to name. That's right. Today we're talking about disorganized attachment. You know, the attachment style born from fear, confusion, and longing all mixed together. It's that come here, go away dance, the I want love, but love doesn't feel safe pattern. It's the I'm scared you'll hurt me, but I'm also scared you'll leave me. That experience. And to help us unpack it, of course, we're going to bring in my girl, Natalie, with the book, The Pain We Carry, which is a book about complex trauma that sits right in the heart of disorganized attachment. So if anxious attachment is fear of abandonment and avoidant attachment is fear of engulfment, then disorganized attachment is fear of both at the same time. So settle in. This one is tender, but it's also freeing. Disorganized attachment forms when the person you needed for safety was also the source of fear. It's being a child whose nervous system learned the one I run to is also the one I needed to run from. Ooh, that one's heavy. So if we look at complex trauma, especially for marginalized folks, safety is where your body can't decide who or what is safe because the signals kept changing. And for many of our listeners, your childhood might have looked like this. One moment a caregiver was loving, the next moment they were yelling, cold, and checked out. Or maybe they were inconsistent, unpredictable, or overwhelmed by their own trauma. Or maybe violence, chaos, or emotional instability was normal. And with all of that, your body learned connection might comfort me or it might destroy me. You also learned I never know what version of you I'm getting, or I have to be ready for anything. So you see, disorganized attachment is not being dramatic at all. It is the survival response of a child who never had the predictable source of safety. So let me paint you a picture so that you can hear yourself or someone you love in this. Disorganized attachment in adulthood will look like pulling away and chasing at the same time, getting overwhelmed by closeness but panicking at distance. Or is it that emotional roller coaster, like intensely loving, then shutting down, or being hypervigilant in relationships? So you're jumping to the worst case scenario, struggling with trust even when someone is safe. Or you're feeling out of control when you care about someone. Or this is my favorite, sabotaging your own relationships because fear hijacks your system. Or what about feeling like relationships are unpredictable? Or needing reassurance but not knowing how to receive it? Because you see, when you are experiencing all this, disorganized attachment says, I want you, but I'm also scared of you. Wait, don't leave me. Wait, give me space. All at the same time. And when we talk about complex trauma and the emotional fragmentation, that is like the different parts of you that want love, the part of you that fear it, but also there's parts of you that freeze, there's parts of you that fight. And so there's all these different parts of you at the same time that's struggling to know how to move through connections. So trauma creates many internal selves, trying to protect you in different ways. That is disorganized attachment. So let me give you a story to kind of help really illustrate what disorganized attachment looks like or where it comes from. So we have a lady. Let's call her Siri. Siri grew up in a home where love was real, but so was instability. Her mom had her own unresolved trauma. Some days she was nurturing, fun, and deeply affectionate. And other days she was explosive, overwhelmed, and emotionally unavailable. And Siri never knew which version of her mother she was getting. So she developed hypervigilance, constantly scanning faces, tones, vibes, to ultimately know how to show up in those spaces. So now let's fast forward to adulthood. Siri desperately wants closeness, but the second things get emotionally intimate, she feels overwhelmed and she starts to pull back. She'll text someone all day one week, then suddenly ghost them because the connection got too real. She'll cry from fear of abandonment, but then the moment someone comes close, her system panics. And I really want to talk about this because that pattern is how trauma creates attachment confusion, where the desire for love collides with the internal fear of danger. So when we're talking about Siri with partners, her partners may say things like, "I don't know which version of you I'm getting." And Siri may quietly think, "Well, honestly, neither do I." And that is disorganized attachment. So disorganized attachment lives in your nervous system, not your personality. It's not a think piece. It's not a logical response. It's rooted in hypervigilance, so scanning for the threat. It's rooted in fight, flight, or freeze, switching rapidly to stay safe and survive. It's rooted in dysregulation during intimacy. And it's also rooted in trauma parts competing for control. So the body has learned that love equals danger. And so when we're bringing in the book, The Pain We Carry by Natalie, she explains how marginalized individuals often grow up in environments where fear, racism, community violence, or even emotional neglect occur with love. Even saying that out loud, see how that sounds confusing? The body gets mixed signals. Be close for survival and stay away for survival. So your system never chooses a lane. It just flips between, right? The fight, I'm suspicious, don't play with me. The flight, I'm out, deuces, this is too much. The freeze, I shut down because I'm overwhelmed. And then the fawn, I'll overgive or overattach to stay safe. And all of that lives inside a disorganized nervous system. So I want to say this out loud. You're not confused. You're traumatized. You're not inconsistent. You're unprotected. You're not too much. Your body has been doing too much for too long. So let me tell you what disorganized attachment quietly longs for. When you experience that, you want predictability, stability, consistency, a partner who remains calm even when you're activated, a relationship where rupture doesn't equal danger. You want a love that gives you space and shows up. And if disorganized attachment could speak in one sentence, it would say, I want love desperately, but my body doesn't believe it's safe. And when we're talking about trauma survivors, so much healing is learning how to teach the body a new story, one that doesn't confuse closeness with threat. So healing disorganized attachment is absolutely possible, but it happens slowly, it happens gently, and through consistent safety. So when we talk about rebuilding our internal safety before the external safety, that is what your body needs. Your body needs to feel safe with you before it feels safe with someone else. So how do we start that? You start with grounding your body, feeling your breaths, and sometimes using bilateral stimulation. Maybe that's holding your arms around yourself for co-regulation. Or maybe that's naming the emotion out loud. And it may sound like, this is fear, this is not truth. Because when your body calms, your attachment system calms as well. Another thing with the healing journey is identifying your trauma parts. Because disorganized attachment equals your parts in conflict. Your younger part is terrified. Your protective part is guarded. Your longing part wants love. And if we're leaning into that and exploring that, then we should get curious about your parts. Don't judge them. And maybe ask, who is activated right now? What is this part trying to protect me from? What does this part need? And we just want to be curious. You don't need to fix your parts at all. You really need to befriend them. And once you do that, you can then start to create predictability in your own relationships. Because disorganized attachment heals through repetition of safety. So small, consistent behaviors rewrite the nervous system. This may look like texting when you say you will, or following through on anything, coming through in the clutch when I need you to, or sharing emotional experiences in small amounts. This can also be practicing vulnerability slowly, or choosing partners who are steady and not chaotic. And that initially can feel super unfamiliar and boring, and you have to kind of remind yourself that that's what you need. So your body needs repeated cues that love doesn't equal danger anymore. And that's what you're learning in those moments, when you're replacing the chaos for calm. And another thing that helps with the healing journey is replacing shame with compassion. Now, you're going to hear this in all the attachment series because most attachment styles are rooted in shame. So when we talk about trauma that is carried deeply in shame, the shame is always going to say things like, I'm broken, I'm too much, I'm hard to love. I hear that a lot in my sessions. And if we were to shift it and lead with compassion, the compassion will say, my reactions make sense based on my past. I wasn't taught safety, but I can learn. I can learn it now. Or I deserve love that doesn't scare me. Because when we start to heal, healing starts when the shame no longer runs the show. So I want to take you through a short inner child healing practice because ultimately all of these attachment styles are healing our inner child. And so I want to take you through a practice that's going to help you to start to feel safe in your body. So in this moment, if it feels safe, take a breath. Imagine the younger you, the child who never knew what version of the people around them they were getting. The one who learned to scan, to freeze, to self-protect. See that child clearly. Now imagine kneeling down so that you're eye to eye. And I want you to say softly, you're not in danger anymore. You don't have to figure out love alone. You deserve relationships that feel safe and steady. And ultimately, I'm here, and I'm not leaving you. Now I want you to notice and feel what's happening in your body. And that right there is you rewiring your story. I want you to know that disorganized attachment doesn't mean that you're unpredictable or unlovable. It means you grew up in an environment where your nervous system never had a steady place to rest. And now, as an adult, you get to create the steadiness that you were missing. You're not broken. You are healing. You're not too much. You are carrying too much. And you are absolutely capable of love that feels calm, regulated, and safe, both with others and within yourself. Thank you for joining me today. And if this episode spoke to your heart, share it with someone who needs this, who needs the language for their healing journey. I'll see you next time. And until then, be patient with your process. Your heart is learning something new. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Rewired for Love. If today's conversation resonated with you, share with someone you care about, or take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback helps this community to grow and keeps these healing conversations flowing. You can also follow me and come hang out with me on all socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of them at Rewired for Love Podcast. Go there to get your daily doses of healing, honesty, and a whole lot of love. Until next time, keep listening to your body, lead with compassion, and remember, you are safe enough to love and be loved.